Peace, peace. Ali, coming back at you on behalf of sallyMyers.com. I'm currently on location at the Alien Research Center on Extraterrestrial Highway in Hicko, Nevada. And in this video, I want to talk about just my personal opinion of why extraterrestrials so-called abduct people. Now, this is not theory, in my opinion. There's a lot of people that have reported being taken either while they're asleep or consciously awake onto spaceships or whatever. And it's not one or two people, it's a myriad. Probably tens of thousands of people have reported being abducted. So me personally, I haven't had any experience of being abducted, not consciously being abducted, but I am a contactee where I met with an extraterrestrial. He gave me his name. He gave me what group he represented, and I still have a relationship with this so-called extraterrestrial. So I know a lot of people, that may turn off a lot of people. Like, oh my goodness, great, like what are you talking about? At this point, I feel like it's important for people that are contactees, especially that look like me, because there's not too many people melanated that are on record saying, yo, I'm a contactee. You know, I rock with the extraterrestrials. I've talked to them. I've built with them or whatever, you know. So I think it's very important for people that are respectable, that have good credentials, that have experience, that we are open about it. So I have no problems of telling people, yes, I'm a contactee. So I feel qualified to speak about why I feel that extraterrestrials do abduct people, because I think this phenomenon is something that really goes on. So I want to give a few things, a few ideals to put into your mind of why I feel that aliens are abducting people. First off, I think that we are ascendants or descendants of extraterrestrial. I believe that every race comes from a star, and I believe that them star systems have what we call aliens or extraterrestrials. I think that the aliens have seeded humanity. If you look at the DNA, our DNA, science would tell you that there's 98% junk DNA, or they call it extraterrestrial DNA because it's not of Earth. Extraterrestrial, the word just means above Earth or not from Earth. And if we have DNA, all humans have DNA that is unaccounted for. You can't find any remnants, any clues of that DNA on Earth. So they call it junk DNA or extraterrestrial DNA. Now, if you look at that, if we have DNA that you can't find anywhere on Earth, then that right there is a tipping point to let you know that part of our makeup is not of Earth. And this is not, if you're into metaphysics and the occult, this isn't nothing new to you. But if you're like on the fence, if you really haven't studied anything and you haven't seen that we aren't from here, you know, there's not enough words for me to convince you that we're not from Earth, yo. Not from Earth whatsoever. So I believe that the extraterrestrial, because we are their children, so to speak, or we can be their parents, however you want to look at it. I'm not going to debate that. But because we are connected to them, I think that they come for their own. Imagine if you had a family member that you knew was abducted in another state. Wouldn't you go there and check them out or see if you can get them? Wouldn't you keep abreast of what's going on with them? If you look at something called a zoo theory, it's a theory that says that higher beings watch humans like we go to the zoo and watch animals. If you look at it, we're in like a prison planet or a zoo, so to speak. And imagine if you were a higher being, or if you came from another planet and you came to Earth and you seen these earthlings, wouldn't you kind of observe them and watch them? And in fact, you may want to take one and study them. And I think that's another part of why aliens abduct people, is they're studying us, okay? Imagine, it's just like this. When you get people that go and shoot animals and they take them, they tag them, they put them in a laboratory, they do experiments and stuff like that, I believe that is akin to extraterrestrials coming and dealing with humans, tagging us, and then studying us or whatever. Another thing that you can tell is if you have some sort of markings on your ear, if you wake up and you feel like you have a bump or some sort of insertion that wasn't there before, That's one of the ways that you can tell that you possibly have been abducted while you were sleeping. In fact, I've had not so much conscious remembrance, but subconscious remembrance of feeling like that I've been taken away from my body while asleep, and I've woken up and I felt bumps, and it felt like something was put inside me. That's the best way I can put it. And once again, this may scare you off if you're not familiar with this subject matter, but it's going on so much that we have to speak about it. And like I said, people that have experience, we really need to speak about it. So it's one of those things. I expect people not to agree. I expect people to ridicule me. I expect a lot of shots fired, and that's cool. But for those who know, we know. And for those who believe, you believe, So I'm coming from a place of knowing. So I think that extraterrestrials, they do abduct us and they do research on one end. Now, another thing that I do believe is I believe that aliens apprehend or abduct humans to upgrade us. If you look at our DNA and if you look at our civilization period, we went from not using fire, eating raw meat, living in substandard conditions or whatever, some races living in caves. Over time, we have evolved and become more technologically advanced. And I believe that's part of alien or higher beings taking and upgrading our system, so to speak. Once again, when I was coming into consciousness, I felt very strongly a lot of times when I woke up that I've been quote unquote upgraded. For those who are psychic sensitive, you'll get these impressions of like, man, I feel like my hardware's been upgraded, so to speak, or my software been upgraded, so to speak. I've had personal experience where I felt like I was upgraded. And I think that a lot of extraterrestrials come here, abduct their own kind, the humans that are part of that solar system or part of that star system. I believe that your parents or the aliens that you're connected with, they come, abduct you, and upgrade your software, so to speak. So I believe that is something else that's going on. Now, a question you may have is, when are you going to be abducted? When are humans abducted? And I believe that it happens mostly in our dream state. If you notice that most humans don't recall every single dream that they have. If you ask most humans, they'll be like, man, I don't dream at all, which is a misnomer because scientifically, every human dreams. Now, dream recall or remembering your dreams is a whole different story or whatever. So I believe that when we're asleep, in the dreams that we don't remember, or the dreams that seem like we're somewhere else, that we're actually could be on the spaceship. Once again, I have personal experience with this. I've heard other teachers speak about this. I've heard other professionals in metaphysics speak about this. And I believe that is really going on. And it's one of those things that it's kind of hard to prove. And I think that's why it's so believable, is because when you study anything dealing with the extraterrestrials, it's usually conflicting information and it's very hard to prove. So I believe that they take us in our sleep because we're most vulnerable when we're asleep. Same thing with people who have demonic possessions. Same thing with incubus and succubus. All this activity happens when you're asleep. Now I like to bring things to earth level. Think about someone who wants to rob you or do a home invasion. More times than not, they do it while you're asleep. They don't do it when you're awake and alert in beta state. They do it when you're in dreamland or whatever, so you're not going to be conscious of it. So if a burglar or someone who's wanting to do a home invasion is going to hit you at your most vulnerable time, usually when you're asleep, then you don't think higher beings and higher intelligence would do the same thing? So I believe that they come mostly when people are asleep and we don't remember it all the way. Like I said, make sure to check your ears, because this is a phenomenon that's been going on once again on the planet for a while, where people have had implants. I don't remember the doctor. I want to say it might be Dr. Greer, but there's a famous doctor. He's known worldwide for removing implants and studying implants in humans. So once again, this is a phenomenon that's been going on and it's been reported by tens of thousands of people, if not hundreds. So this has been Ali. Just want to give my thoughts on why extraterrestrials abduct humans. If you want to find out more information about myself and what we do, be sure to visit my website, salimyers.com. If you're in need of metaphysical tools and supplies, be sure to visit our website, l9shop.com. That's el, the number 9shop.com. Until next time, peace.